Hello everyone and welcome to my gamer dark side. Today I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic, that is Cyberpunk 2077, a game that I think it doesn't need any introductions at all. So I initially wanted to play Cyberpunk on my PlayStation 4, but due to certain unfortunate reasons I decided that it was best to play it on my PC, and I was lucky enough to be able to play it on a custom built PC. I finished this game on ultra settings and I actually took my time with it. I didn't rush my experience so I could get every tiny detail out there. It took me 70 hours of gameplay before I could reach one of the endings. Before the game came out, I was one of those people that was really hyped for it, and from my perspective, everything that I wanted the most was present in the game. Of course, that there were some cool features shown in the trailers and gameplay fragments that didn't appear on the release version, but that didn't bother me much because I knew that some of those changes were probably going to happen, especially because the game was still in its development phase. Thus, I really wanted to see more flying cars and being able to use them. I felt like the cars from Cyberpunk were really awesome, but having a huge futuristic city and not being able to drive flying cars, come on, that's a huge point that is missing. Also, experiencing the acid rain that they had promised, or using drones outside of missions, that would be really cool too. When it comes to the last gen version, I gradually kept in mind that the game wouldn't run that great. It was already a huge project with lots of content, and eventually it grew out to be even more massive to the point that it didn't felt like a last gen game anymore. But it turned out definitely worse than I thought, solely by seeing the images and videos that were spread online, considering that Cyberpunk 2077 was being originally developed for those last gen consoles. I think that it really is a shame that CD Projekt couldn't keep its promises, even so when they initially appeared to have so much time in their hands, and then ended up constantly delaying the release date. When CD Projekt didn't give PlayStation 4 and Xbox One codes for reviews and didn't permit last gen footage to be shown before launch, we definitely shouldn't have seen these as warning signs. So we start as a mercenary that wants to make it big in Night City, a futuristic megalopolis that is full of conflict, violence, and corruption. Our ambition for power leads us to a mysterious ship that may hide the secret for immortality, but at what cost? Some positive things I can say about Cyberpunk 2077 is that the city is absolutely stunning. We have a huge open world map to explore with lots of side activities to do. Everything is really colorful and flashy with bright neon lines. It kind of remembered me of GTA Vice City, so it hit me really close to home. I also love the attention to detail they gave to the advertising posters. It was freaking amazing. The story is intriguing and has multiple endings that can be influenced by the choices and missions we do during the game. Night City has mega corporations and dangerous gangs, each with their own background and specific behavior. Characters are well developed and have great voice actors. The evolution between V and Johnny's relationship is really awesome to see. It's unstable, fascinating, and definitely something really special that we don't see every day. Main and side missions can be done in many different ways. Dialogue and actions have a strong impact on them. Sometimes we can either choose to kill or do a more peaceful route. Missions can approach various themes that push for our morals and makes us think about the purpose of life. There's also lots of customization options when it comes to appearance, weapons, and cybernetic implants. For me, clothes were all about fashion, but they can be combined strategically as armor too. Weapons appear in all types and formats. We have tech weapons that allow us to shoot our targets through walls, and smart weapons with bullets that go in the direction of our enemies, even if we fail to aim at them. We can use badass melee weapons such as sharp katanas and cyberware swords. These swords can be attached to our arm as a cybernetic implant. You can buy many implants to the other parts of your body to help in combat and exploration. However, when it comes to appearance, you can only see how your character looks in photo mode, in the inventory, or when looking in the mirror. I honestly think that they should have maintained the third-person perspective during cutscenes and not only when driving vehicles. Of course, this is just a personal preference because I think it would help me stay more visually connected to my character. Police AI can be very overwhelming and challenging. They appear everywhere and can kill us easily if we don't have a vehicle close to us. They will chase us if we commit a crime and they're in the area. If we killed or did a threatening action, a civilian can call the police and they will come and try to surround us. There are many combat approaches in the game. You can get noisy and start killing everyone, or you can choose the stealth option with the hacking abilities. You can use those abilities to distract enemies, to blind them, to deactivate their movements, to ignite them, overload them with electric shocks, and so much more. The music is awesome. The samurai tunes were just perfect for the whole theme of the game. The radio music was very lit, but I think that Pon Pon music was literally haunting me during the whole game. It followed me everywhere like it was a curse. I don't know. Now to the negative stuff. Me and my boyfriend choose different life paths to see how our experiences would change. Well, the truth is that they didn't. While I played as a badass lesbian corpo, my boyfriend opted to be a straight kid. Life paths only affect the beginning and some choices during the game, but the main story stays exactly the same. I was kind of disappointed with this because I was expecting to have all the luxuries that a corpo has, but instead I just felt like a straight kid most of the time. Another thing that I didn't understand was why having such a long introduction when the main storyline and its missions are so short. This game can be finished very quickly even when doing most of the side quests. Moments before reaching the point of no return, I honestly felt like I was just halfway with the story. As I played on the PC version, I only had minor bugs related to cars and objects, but there were some bugs that would result in immediate death. For example, when I jumped at random places, my character would suddenly fly away and die when landing. There was also bugs related to body customization and in-game shadows. My V would appear bald in some missions and sometimes without clothes. In the final mission, I found a game-breaking bug with the Panzer from the Nomads being completely destroyed, upside down and on top of a building. This almost stopped me from reaching the end of the game, but somehow I managed to overcome it. I sometimes felt there was a lack of interaction between side characters and romantic partners after doing their missions. Yes, we can contact them at any given time and have a small chat with them, but besides this there isn't much we can do. Also, small talks can usually become very repetitive with the same dialogue options. It was my dream to go on more dates with Judy, but I just couldn't because there wasn't an option for it. Even recent GTA games have a small dating system and Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't. I mean, come on. I know that the citizens' AI was supposed to be smart and have their own daily routines, but that's not entirely correct. Most of the times pedestrians and NPCs would seem like a shell without content. Besides some of their reactions being strange, sometimes they would disappear when I turned my back at them, they would spawn random around me and always do the same generic actions. I repeatedly saw various NPCs just vomiting or crying at the same place. I mean, do they all have those kind of routines? It just doesn't make sense. Talking about AI, racing missions can be quite unfair, because the AI of the opposing cars just makes them teleport right behind our vehicle no matter how fast they go. So if we crash, those cars can just immediately surpass us. The game also promoted itself as having lots of sexual content, but in reality sex interactions are very limited. Besides sex cutscenes with a romantic partner that only happen once, or visiting a Joy Toy in Jig Jig Street, there isn't much going on. Also, a perverted question, Why is there so much sex toys and erotic BDs in a game where there is no use for them? Do you know? Because I don't. And when it comes to BDs, I really wish there was an option to do more brain dances outside of missions. That would be really cool. Another question, and no, it's not perverted, is why isn't there any hairdressers in the town? Maybe they could add this in the next patch? It's just because my boyfriend right in the beginning decided to choose a random hairstyle he didn't even like because he wanted to skip the part of the customization very quickly and he thought he could change it later, but he couldn't. Oh well. Alright, I'll end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it and don't take it too seriously because this is just my opinion and every experience can be very different, especially when it comes to this game. Cyberpunk 2077 definitely wasn't the revolutionary RPG experience that had been promised, but it was a pretty good game and I had lots of fun with it. If you still haven't played Cyberpunk 2077, I highly recommend for you to play it on a good PC or in Google Stadia, or maybe just wait for the next gen versions that will come out later this year. If you already played it, tell me if you agree or disagree with my opinion. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. Also, don't forget to like this video, share, leave a comment, or maybe subscribe to support my channel. It's always appreciated, and I'll see you really soon. Bye bye!